All right, well, we're here with Bon Richards, and you made First State, which we just saw from start to finish with two other great, hilarious shorts. Um,
Mhm.
I got to tell you, First States is a crowning achievement. I mean, it is, besides being drop dead funny, it's
Thank
incredibly smart. The story resonates, and it's such a I'm going to ask you questions from the jury that ask we know you're in Virginia, so maybe you've got insight into Washington D.C. and how things go there. Uh, but also the filmmaking is spectacular. It looks like a Hollywood feature from start to finish. The quality of the look is good, and I believe you got the kind of credit to say written, directed, and shot by. So so it sounds like you're a one-man studio.
when you're working with no money, yeah.
Well, I mean, and it doesn't look like a film with no money. So uh, go ahead, tell me a little bit about yourself. How are you? Go ahead, tell me about. I don't know anything about you, so
I'm
feel free. I'm sure people in the audience, if we had the pleasure of watching this with an audience of 50, 60 people throwing up their hands, people would be like, what's your background in filmmaking, and then what inspired you to write a hilarious
yeah,
film that starts with a guy who actually believes that his deep fake video is real. That's so funny.
yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
I must have had sex with a sheep back in the day, I guess.
Yeah. He had a crazy run in the '90s. So my background is I went to school for English literature, medieval English literature, um, which not a whole lot of upward mobility in that field. So I I pivoted after college and I started editing. I began as a professional editor, and I moved to freelancing and saved up some money and bought a camera or a series of cameras, and I kind of worked my way up to a Canon C300 Mark II, which is a thing I shoot on now and what I use for first dates. And then began to take on jobs as a DP, which is currently what I am. So yeah, well, currently I'm not doing much of anything because there isn't a whole lot of production going on.
There's
But
there's a pandemic.
professional,
But so
yeah,
so besides writing something super smart and doing a great job directing your actors, so the reason it looks so great is you work full time. Your main gig is cinematography.
yeah, yeah. I
I gotta
shoot a
tell you,
lot.
most cinematographers can't whip out a script that good.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. The script was written really quickly. I was on a corporate shoot, and one of my points of contact for the company I was working for was this lawyer, and he turned out to be the congressman in the short film, and he had like this sort of I don't know, this interesting charisma, and he was just a funny dude. So we became friends after this corporate shoot, and I was like, you've kind of got like the energy of like an old school congressman. We should do something together. You should act, you know? And so I kind of just very mentally twisted his arm into acting in this thing. Well, so he had no prior experience as an
Really,
actor. But
your
he's just
lead
yeah,
actor, who absolutely is, he feels like the leading man in like a John Hughes film to me.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
like
yeah,
like
yeah,
like if he had 50 credits, I'd believe it.
yeah. He has like this kind of uncanny ability to be himself when the camera's turned on. And he's just a funny guy.
So did you just write the script completely with him in mind?
Yeah, yeah. It's exactly what I did. Wrote it with him in mind, and all of my other friends and collaborators sort of built around him.
Fantastic. And was it a long shoot? Did you because you are your own boss, did you have time for it, or because you had so many people helping you, you actually couldn't? You had to be efficient.
It was I think it was like a 5-day shoot, maybe 4 or 5 day shoot, spread out over 3 weeks or something like that. Um, the other guys in the shoot are also in the industry. The guy who played the agent, Eli Swenson, who's also like the producer of this thing. He's a gaffer in DC, so we work together on corporate things. So he can be tapped at a moment's notice to come and help. So it's a very tight group, and we just work on things together often.
Is the actor who played Aaron, is that someone you had to cast, or is that another person in your sphere?
Yeah, Aaron was a last minute guy. A very fortuitous last minute guy. He is the son of my fiance's boss. So our first guy couldn't make it, and then I realized that I remembered Quinton, who played him. I'd met Quinton a few times before, and I just thought he was a kind of interesting dude. He didn't have to like modulate or be a different guy for this movie. He was just himself. And originally the character for Aaron was more like obsequious and kind of like brown nosy, but his delivery in this movie really like changed it, and I thought made it funnier. So he didn't really have to adjust his persona much either.
Wow, so the two main performers were both non-actors.
Yeah.
So that says something about your skills as a director, creating that environment for them to just give these supreme performances. Wow.
Thanks. I think it's we're all friends and comfortable with one another, and they were just gracious enough to be themselves while the camera was rolling.
Excellent. All right. Well, now I'll pretend I'm taking questions from the audience. Here's our first question from one of our jurors, and she wanted to know, you directed and shot your film, two very big roles for one person, and both done extremely well. What was the biggest challenge balancing those two? Or I'll make it easier and say,
probably,
yeah.
I think I answer. It's the only way I know how to go about doing it at this point. But I think the difficulty is often expressing myself coherently when I'm thinking about how the shot needs to work. I'm communicating with Eli the gaffer, and
you're operating, right? You're operating.
Yeah, I'm operating.
So you're able to operate and talk to the actors simultaneously?
Yeah, well, I try to do all the talking before I hit record, but as the DP, I'm also thinking about how I want the thing to look and sort of play out within the frame. So listening back to like my voice in playback is painful sometimes, because I'm it's fragments, lots of fragments, a lot of like just like bad direction. So I think it's like calming down enough to give them a nice coherent thought to work with before hitting record. That would be the difficulty. Yeah.
And you mentioned you started off editing. So was this, since you spread it out over time, were you editing in between shoot days?
No, I didn't touch it till it was all shot.
Probably a good choice.
Yeah. I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole, because I realized how many things I need, and I'd probably want to redo things, which is just like production death.
For sure. Then it would take you a year. A year of pickups. Well, here's one. This juror said, "I love the details mentioning 4chan and 8chan, and that the congressman is surprised to find out the video's fake. You kept pushing and pushing the story as a writer. Was there anything that you pushed too far and decided to take out?"
I don't think there was anything struck from the script. I never thought that we'd actually see the video, the blackmail. I figured it would just be more palatable if it were sounds.
It was.
Bestialities.
And by the way, I think one of the funniest moments is when he watches his daughter pull almost a David Lynchian moment of just strangeness, and then he just comes through the window and goes, "What the fuck?" Like, so I just think that's just such a funny. That's. I mean, you definitely set the tone right there for this character. That.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's kind of a non sequitur at the very, very beginning of the movie. I think the intention behind there was like to introduce just another reason why he might want to run off into the woods, and it just struck me as funny.
And one last question for you is, and this is actually from me, but I'm a juror too. It's about the, and so you had my hopes up when Aaron isn't dead after being shot, because obviously when this young man whose only fault is working for a complete old school congressman, which means horribly dishonest human. And I'm like, okay, he's gonna go to the hospital, he's gonna be all right, and then kill him. Which to me, reading into it, almost feels like your commentary of, yeah, you know what? No matter what, the congressmen are gonna be all right, and the ordinary people are toast. Was that?
I think that's a fine enough analysis. I think that plays. The idea came from, like, it needed a button at the very end, and for it to be a true comedy, everyone, it has to resolve happily ever after. But for it to be a contemporary comedy, somebody has to die. It has to end poorly, if not for everybody, then at least for one of the guys. So we might as well have been Aaron.
You killed the one that we least wanted to die. So
yeah,
that was probably a good choice. Your storytelling instincts were right on.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it was fun killing Aaron.
Why not? And how long were you working on the script? I'm just curious.
It was pretty quick.
Yeah, you said that. Yeah,
it was pretty quick. It's hard to recall exactly how long. Maybe like a week. Maybe a week plus. It was like It was like a 22-page script, but it came out to be about 17 minutes.
And
so we got some fat.
Sounds like you had good instincts, because you did not kill yourself rewriting on this one. You wrote it, and then you already had your cast in mind. You already had your lead in mind, so it wasn't. You didn't have to deal with weeks of casting and all kinds of stuff, huh?
Yeah, everybody was ready to work, and yeah, no huge rewrites. Well, that's not entirely true. Like, halfway through, we did change some dialogue around the stuff with Iran, where he's required to be at the congressman is required to be at the Capitol, because he needs to vote. He's promised to vote a certain way regarding an Iran deal. We weren't sure if we wanted
Saudi Arabia gave him cash.
Yeah, something like that. It's kind of alluded to that he had received cash, maybe from some like princes, But we weren't sure if it was going to be like the Saudis, or if it was going to be like big pharma, or whatever. Like, so we sort of we shot that scene like near the end. We were just trying to figure out the right thing to plug in, the right hot button issue to factor in.
It worked, and it totally sealed the deal on the cynicism of that character.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, it seems like like more innocent times when we were just worried about the Saudis.
For sure.
Yeah, before the virus.
Oh boy.
Or else it might have been the virus.
And you said you're in Virginia, so
yes,
not too far from DC, or? No,
not too far. I work in DC a lot for shoots, corporate stuff primarily. I live in Charlottesville, which is kind of in the mountains. It's where UVA is, little town in the mountains.
Nice. It's always nice to be a college town. Is always a little island of sanity, no matter where you are.
Yeah. Except for the weekends, it gets kind of crazy here.
I bet. I will. Well, superb work. I mean, it really is
Thanks, man.
a really impressive film. Are you planning on making more shorts, or you got other things in mind?
Yeah, pushing some other stuff. We're trying to develop like a series roughly around these same characters. So we kind of got that going, and then some longer projects with the same cast and crew. Just pushing everything at once and see whatever lands.
You got a great team. You might as well continue with it.
Thanks, man. Yeah, lucky. Everybody's really game.
And you found
Been
yourself
really
a great leading man.
Yeah, I think he's our golden child. He's our golden boy.
He'll get stolen from you, and he'll retire. He'll move out to LA and retire.
Yeah, we're gonna pull him up an IMDb page pretty soon. So he can look official to all of his. He's a lawyer, so he wants to impress his cohorts with his acting credit. Yeah,
it's a real credit. It's a real. He did some real acting for sure.
Yeah, man. He's got it. He's the natural. We like to call him the natural on set.
I understand. Well, you know what? I think he did great, and you did great. You.
Thanks, man.
Your skills as a filmmaker this is a hell of a calling card for you, man. I think it's
I appreciate it.
superb work.
Yeah. Thanks for.
And by the way, it wasn't one of the questions, but great look on the color timing too.
Thank you.
The grayish. It really it absolutely serves your story. So
DC is a very beige place, so we're going for the gray tones.
For sure.
Yeah.
It works.
Thanks, dude.
All right. Well, it was a pleasure getting to meet you this way. And
yeah.
Hopefully someday we'll be at a film festival where humans are in the same space someday.
Exactly. Yes. Next year or whenever I can make it out to LA.
Sounds great.
Well, right. Yeah. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks, Bond. It was a pleasure. Yeah. And it's an honor to have your film in the festival. It was, I always love making I'm stuck in the theater mindset. So I always love that first screening being solidly hilarious comedy. So
thanks, man. I appreciate it.
You're in a block of 3 great comedies, and
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, shout out to those others. Those are really funny movies.
All right. Great.
All right, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, later.